This video is going to be covering negative exponents as well as negative bases. First, we're going to talk about negative exponents. We've already talked about it a little bit with powers of 10. Basically, it's the same rule. If you have a negative exponent, you create a fraction with a numerator of 1, and your denominator is basically the same exponent but positive. So rewrite the base and exponent in the denominator but with a positive exponent. And then you work it out as far as you can. So 5 to the negative 2 is 1 over 5 to the positive 2. And then you just work it out. 5 to the second is 5 times 5, so it's 1/25. So we're going to practice a few of these. First, we're going to talk about 3 to the negative 4. You're going to rewrite it. 1 with a numerator, or 1 is the numerator, and then 3 to the 4th. And then 3 to the power of 4, when you work that out, it works out to 81. So it's 1/81th, or 1/81st. I don't know if you use 1th. All right, moving on. 2 to the negative 3 is going to be 1 over 2 to the 3rd. And then you're going to work out 2 to the 3rd and get 8, so it's 1/8. 5 to the negative 2 is going to be 1 over 5 to the 2nd, and then 1 over 25. 3 to the negative 3 is going to be 1 over 3 to the 3rd, which works out to 1 over 27. Notice how a negative exponent does not give a negative answer. A negative exponent does not give a negative answer. It just makes the answer really small, but it's never going to become negative. Your bases determine whether or not an answer is going to be positive or negative, and that's what we're going to get into next. So we have two exponents here. We have a negative 3 in parentheses to the second power, and then we have negative 3 to the 2nd. And they don't work out to the same thing. In this first one, the negative sign is included. When the negative sign's in the parentheses, you include it when working it out. So if you were to write this out, you would have negative 3 times negative 3. And then that's going to be two negatives multiplying, make a positive. That's going to be a positive 9. Over here on the right, the negative sign is applied after you work out the exponent. So it's negative 3 times 3. So that one's going to be negative 9. So now we have two new problems. We have a negative 2 to the in parentheses to the 3rd, and then we have negative 2 to the 3rd. So when we work this one out, we include the negative again. So if you were to write it out long ways, you'd say negative times negative times negative, and then 2 times 2 times 2. That's going to be a negative 8. Over here, you've got your negative, and then 2 to the 3rd. So it's going to be, you do your 2 to the 3rd first, and then apply the negative. In this case, they worked out to the same thing. Negative 3 in parentheses to the 4th compared to negative 3 to the 4th. In this one, you include the negative. That's going to be 4 negative signs you're dealing with, so it's going to become a positive. And then 3 to the 4th is 81. Over here, the negative gets applied at the end, so you work out the 3 to the 4th and then put the negative sign on. And that works out to negative 81. Now we're going to compare some of these. We have negative 6 to the 2nd compared to 6 to the negative 2nd. We're going to see if it's greater than, less than, or equal to. So we'll take care of this one first. We're going to go ahead and rewrite that out. We're going to think of it as negative 6 times 6. Negative the quantity of 6 times 6. That works out to negative 36. Over here on the right, that's a negative exponent, so we're going to do our exponent rule when we have a negative exponent. We're going to make it 1 over 6 to the 2nd. And when you work that out, that's 1/36. Now 1/36 is a pretty small number, but it's positive. Negative 36 is negative, so a positive is always going to be bigger than the negative. So we're going to have to say less than. Negative 6 to the second is less than 6 to the negative 2. Then we have the quantity of negative 4 to the second compared to 4 to the negative second. Let's see how this one works out. We're going to take care of the negative 4, quantity negative 4 to the second, and we're going to rewrite that. That would be thought of as negative 4 times negative 4. So that's going to become a positive 16. Over on the right, we're going to do our negative exponent trick, where as soon as you see a negative exponent, 1 up top, and then just work it out. So that's 1/16. 16 compared to 1/16 is going to be greater. So quantity negative 4 to the second is going to be greater than 4 to the negative second. So we'll do one more. We have negative 4 to the power of 3 compared to 4 to the power of negative 3. So this one, the negative is going to be included when you're working it out. So that's 3 negatives we're dealing with. So it's going to become negative, and then 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So negative 64. Over here we have 4 to the negative third, which is going to be 1 over 4 to the third, which works out to 1/64. On the left we have a negative answer. On the right we have a positive answer. The negative is always going to be less than the positive. That's about it. Hope this helps. Best of luck to you.